Hi, everyone. I'm going to do number 21. Journal 21, Thursday, January 6th, 2022, Sugiyama Revisited. Hi, everyone. Let's get back to the main quest. Over the last few days, my thinking has changed its course several times. Today, I'm going to put all of those thoughts into the cauldron at once and attempt to boil up a new answer to the original question. What makes Sugiyama sentimental? I'm not interested in what made him popular or prolific or bursting with national pride. Lots of people are all of those things. The demigodly achievement of Sugiyama and so few others is the infusion of enduring emotion into the melodies. And that's the topic I'm returning to. But I'm going to get a bit whimsical as I do this. When I was 35, I attempted to exercise at my university's gym. After a couple of light sets, I got up from my bench to exchange the warm-up weights I was using for a pair of less pointless dumbbells. The rack was about 4 feet away. Between my two-step walk there and my two-step walk back, a young woman sat down on my not yet sweaty bench. I'm sorry, may I do one last set there? I asked, overpowering my annoyance with politeness. She didn't respond. Instead, she pulled out her phone, extended her arm, and began to take infinity selfies. That's when I smelled her perfume. The last time my nose encountered that scent, it belonged to a middle schooler. Both my nose and the perfume did. Before I could respond or make sense of the situation, the world rewound itself and deposited me in Walker Middle School. The scent functioned like a teleportation device, hurtling me, dumbbells and all, into that lost world. It wasn't a nostalgic place I found myself in, as I don't miss those years, but being unexpectedly flung into them demonstrated the power of the sensory contexts we assign to our environments. It's possible that those contexts have a purpose to help us find our way back to places we have previously visited, should we ever choose to return. That's my long and smelly-winded way of saying, I wonder if Sugiyama's music is a sensory feature of an environment, one of reward and safety, no danger, plenty of food. I spent considerable time there as a child and never had a bad experience, so I would do well to visit more often. How might I get there? Just follow my nose. Or in this case, my ears, let Sugiyama's notes serve as my guide. If I'm trying to find a nearby beach, I can listen for the sound of crashing and shushing waves and instantly know which way to walk. Similarly, if I'm in search of a nearby Alifgard or Tortland, I can trail the trilling of Sugiyama's symphonic birds like a signpost telling my mind which way to wander. If I wander that way, I'll rid myself of the assaults on my time and my attention. I will soon arrive in that perfect, carefree world without threat, without urgency, without any stress at all. So far, in all of my years of listening, I've never failed to find respite. What better reason is there for sentimentality? Perhaps emotion helps preserve more than community. Perhaps it's a survival map, and enhanced self-preservation awaits those who learn to read it, which likens sentimentality to emotional literacy. Maybe. Consider babies and the clumsy, seemingly arbitrary movements their limbs make during development. It's not arbitrary at all. The flapping and wiggling is how they learn their motor map, so that in the future, they can call upon those same muscles in more precise and productive ways. Likewise, our seemingly pointless bursts of youthful emotion might not be as pointless as they seem. But that's enough cauldron talk for one day. I'll see you tomorrow for our last day on this road. Okay, that's number 21. There's so much more that I could say about video games and video game music, and I'll get to something later. There's a little bit I actually want to say, which is that talking about sentimentality and nostalgia kind of takes something away from it. It cuts it short in the way that if you were to separate video game music from the gaming experience, it would, the assumption, the accusation that it would break down. Like it would be if you go, I don't get a Bonanza vinyl, okay, and you give it to somebody who liked that show, like, oh, doesn't this work for you? Don't you feel emotions kind of churning in your belly? It's a totally different phenomenon. And it's not a new one either. The video game, it's not like a developing art. I mean, Sugiyama himself died of old age. I mean, he was 90 when he died in 2021. And so video game music has been around for a really long time. The developmental years were decades ago. That's not to say that like every single, soundtrack is just hit after hit. I mean, Sugiyama is one of the greats. Like early career, Dragon Quest One, that I mean, critically acclaimed, kind of changed the landscape of music. Dragon Quest Two, January 1987, pretty old. I think in that age, in that time, that was the greatest video game music achievement yet. And there was a lot of competition already. But after that, his very next game, I mean, 3 months later, practically to the day, was the next game that he composed music for was Jesus Kyofu no Biomonster, right? Fear of the Biomonster. Jesus, Fear of the Biomonster. And not a hit, not really critically. Like if you listen to the soundtrack, there's some good songs in there, but there's variance, right? Early career, there's variance. It's later when you see Sugiyama go, like every single note is at least a double, it's an extra bass hit. I mean, he never misses. And lots of people do it. I mean, I would say today, Yasunori Mitsuda and like Koji Kondo, and the late Koichi Sugiyama, these are John Williams and Danny Elfman and Max Steiner and the video game composers, I think, overtook cinematic score writers, those musicians a while ago. I don't think this is a new phenomenon where video game music has just emerged as something being taken seriously. It just happens to be nostalgic too, and so that's the point. The only point I wanted to say, the extra words I could say, we'll say it later. One of these, but that's it. I will. Oh, I hope. Let's not hope about anything sentimental. You can manage your own sentimentality. I hope your soaps, like not soap opera. I hope your like bathroom soap and shower soap are hygienic in a rewarding way. That's my hope for the day. Okay, bye, everyone.